Hello everybody, welcome back to an edition of the EcoStruxure Machine Expert HVAC. I'm your host, Leandro Mada, and in this video what we're going to see is how we can communicate a PLC of the HVAC offer with the HMI of the EcoStruxure Operator Terminal Expert. So I will focus now on using the Modicon M173 optimized instead of the Modicon M172. So we can get familiar how is the communication model over Modbus serial. So let's go to the presentation. So this is the Modicon M173. So basically the idea is to use one of the ports of the two ports to communicate with an HMI. In this case, I'm going to use an HMI SD6400. Okay, so basically we have these two ports, the CN2 and CN3, that basically are Modbus serial, RS45. The CN2, which is the RS45-1, is only a slave, and the RS45-2 is a slave or master. So in order to communicate with the with an HMI, I usually use the HMI as a master and the PLC as a slave. Okay, this is the wiring that probably you need to follow. Okay, so sometimes what I do is to have an Ethernet cable and just cut it and remove all the things that I don't know and keep the number 4, 5, and number 8 as you can see here on the screen, and use those three cables to connect to the PLC. Okay, otherwise you can use a Modbus cable. This is the one that I have over here with these three only, and just connect to the HMI. But further information you can find it on the catalog of the HMI, which port is the one that you need to use and which cable you can use. Okay, so let's go to the software. So let's open the HVAC to create a new project. So we're going to create my M173 HMI. So we're going to use this one. So the first thing that we need to do is to create some variables, of course, and then just share information to the other side. So what I'm going to do now is to, let's see, I have already connected into here analog input. Let's see, it's in the analog input 1, I believe. So this one's going to be the temperature. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is to create a few variables. So it's going to be I temperature. And then I'm going to create a few more variables. So I indication 1. And then parameters is going to be I for configuration 1, then so on, so on, so on. Okay. Now, how I can connect this and make it work? Let's just make an example. So I'm going to put this over here, modify this here, have more space. So mains. Global, there is nothing over here, just need to compile. Configuration variables, IO mapping variable. So I'm going to add into indication 1 the value indication 2 plus the one for the parameters. So we can make something. So just to show you that it works. Then on the configuration, each part of the variables parameter and status has their own address. That's the one that we need in order to read information to. What we need to configure is the Modbus port. So by default, the RS45-1 is only a slave, so there is no further information to do. But here on the slave part, we had a possibility on the RS485-2, we have a possibility to configure a slave of master. So on the BIOS parameter, what we need to do is to configure the ports over here. So if we go for over here, RS485, 1 and 2, we have all this to configure. So I'm going to define the address number 10. The baud rate is going to be this, is going to be fine. Parity event, and this one stop bit is going to be 1. I can also do the same for the RS485 too, but it's going to leave it like that. So I'm going to use only one of those 2 ports. Now that I have this, should be able to compile and then should be able to connect and make a full download. So online setup communication active, I believe it's the 11. Okay. Connect, have the communication. I'm going to show you now this different code. So you can see here is connected. Oops. So it's connected. Now I'm going to make a full download. Just wait for it to finish. So what we're going to do now is, what we're doing is to have a program. Some variables already defined with an address, and configure the serial port that we're going to use to communicate with the HMI. I already have the cable and everything, so we don't worry about that. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is to go to programming and check if I'm reading the analog input that I want, or is the next one. And something I don't forget is that I need to move the actual temperature over here from the analog input. There we go. Just wait for it. Okay, as you can see, I'm reading the information. So this part is already done. But in order to check this out, what we need to do is to export the data using this data export developer. Here you can go to the M173 data export and Modbus option for EOT. Then you will need to find the folder. So in my case, it's going to be my my variables. Then I put it in the same folder as the application. Here, the source name, we just need to define the name of the device that we're gonna have on the other side. So I'm going to leave my M173, and this is the prefix for the variables. So I'm going to leave it that dot export. Here, please remember to define the Modbus slave name M173. Okay, brilliant. Now, I have configured this and I have exported the file. Now we need to do something on the Operator Terminal Expert. So the Operator Terminal Expert, I'm going to create a project. The project in my case needs to be done with HMI ST6 4000 function Ethernet 192.168.1.64 is the one I have. Default gateway 192.168.1.1. Preferences, download, transfer method, Ethernet cable, yes. Options, no. On the advanced, going to allow Ethernet transfer. And now on the variables, the drivers, first we need to add the driver. In this case, it's going to be Schneider Electric, Modbus SIO master. Here you can find the M172, M171, but the M173 is not, but it will work, or it should work. So let's go here, and I'm going to name here the device as the same as I had before, and my M173. So don't worry about the IP address. I don't know why it show. It's just something standard. But what we need to do is to check which is the COM that we're going to use, because depending on the COM port that we have, you can have RS485 or you can have RS232. So on the drivers, you have Modbus driver, the device over here, and here is you can change the interface. So I'm going to use the COM2, which is the one I need. If you don't know, then just check the hardware manual. Here, what we need to check is all the configuration that we have done on the other side to match. So over here, the BIOS parameters, we already configure these ones on this controller. So baud rate 19200 even 1. So 19200 even 1, 8 bits is going to be there. So this part by default is going to be fine. Nothing to do, but in case you need to change, this is where you need to. On the PLC, we just need to define the slave address. It's going to be number 10. And here we have the use of HVAC controller, which is this. So in the past, we don't have this. There's something new, I believe, version 3.3 or 3.4. Right now, I'm using 3.5.2. Addressing mode, you cannot change this, and also the communication optimization, you can't. But in the past, when you don't have this, you just need to use custom and define the things. This will speed up the process. Otherwise, you can also create different scan rate that I showed in the previous video with the Ethernet connection. So that's fine for the configuration of the hardware. Now we need to import the variables. So here on the variables, this one is the import icon. And here we just need to select the folder. This is the folder that I have created. My variables, open, add to existing, or overwrite in case you have the same ones. And there we go. And something's happened, I believe. Let's check, because I believe I select this, unless my mistake. My variables, open file. Let's open on the other side. No, I didn't export it. Seems it only export the what they call the status variables. So let's check that out now again. Okay, so compile. Export menu. My variables, save, replace it. Already select this one, EEPROM. So let's check. Maybe that's something that we need to double check that now, later. So EEPROM, export. Okay, I believe that's something that I need to report, but and let's check this out again. No, we didn't export that. Okay, so I believe the reason may be that it changed the name to parameters. It works a little bit different compared with the EEPROM. Okay, so it's something that we need to double check, something to improve over here. But this is how you can share variables. So I'm going to show you the proof of concept that you can connect these two together. So now what we have is the variables that I have already defined. So what we can do is to create some kind of screen and add, for example, here the temperature. And here you can define how you want to visualize this. So it's going to be 2D sheets, one, and disable the input. I want to write into this register. Okay, you have the possibility to have details on the here prefix R248 C. Oh, the other way around, my bad. There we go, and basic shape font 32. Just showing that in that way. I'm going to add this one. It's going to be the variable I have there, indication 1, Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V, and indication 2, variables, indication 2. Okay, just to show you that we have something, and indication 3, just to show different things. You can change over here. Bear with me. So what we need to do now is to download this to the target. Save, do not. Okay. Save it on another place. Delete me later. Folder. Yes. So I need to check on the other HMI. Send information. HMI, just checking this out here and here. Okay. So what we need to check now is on the HMI. Here, a little transfer function, transfer Ethernet. I haven't specified the Ethernet that I want to use, the Ethernet port or the IP address. As you can see over there, Ethernet 192.168.1.64. Enable, download. No, I don't want to do this. Okay. Yeah. So hopefully now should be able to do that. Yes, keep local storage, keep. Yeah. So right now it's downloading. Just wait for it to download successfully. Now I need to show you what I'm seeing. Okay, so I have here the screen. You are not going to see it. I know how. Let me just double check something. What I can do, just to show you that it works, the HMI has something called Web Viewer. So what I'm going to do now is to re-download and configure the Web Viewer. Data access, Web Viewer, yeah, enabled, security disabled, Now we probably need to create a user. So it's going to be security settings. All users, user group, admin, security level 20, monitor and edit, user, LTA, password, LTA. So right now I'm downloading everything again. Overwrite. Good. So what I'm going to do now is to access to the web viewer, just to show you what I have on the screen. Operation 24.4, which is the actual temperature. So if I connect to here, download code, yes, okay. So here you can see that I'm reading 24.4, and here, oops, it's a web viewer. Here you can see if I modify this, you can see here I change the information. If I touch the probe that is connected, you can see that is increasing the temperature, the reading information. Okay. Of course, there is other display that you can connect with the M172 and with M173, the same family range, but this one I didn't include it. I'm going to do another video with that. The other thing what I want to check is what happens if those variables are over here. Should be parameters. Parameters 2. Save and export. Variables 3. Just checking this with you. As you can see, I haven't tested it, just ready for action. So my variable is 3. Checking if it's export. Yes. Okay, so you will need to select the BIOS parameter in order to export that. Otherwise, it will not do it. Let's check again. Mod variables. Say yes, I want to replace it without the BIOS parameter. Okay. My variables, and it didn't update things. Okay, so if you want to share the EEPROM that it makes sense, you just need to select BIOS parameter, so you will share that everything. Otherwise, it will not do it. Okay, so this is how we can interconnect via Modbus serial M173 to HMI program EcoStruxure Machine Expert. Something very important, as you can see, is that EEPROM, at least in this version, need to have those parameters. You need to export the BIOS parameters, because in the default it's not, because those parameters are inside the parameters, which is different for the EEPROM. It has different things. But if you use the M172, that would work directly, okay, because it has the EEPROM. So this is how you can communicate the M173 or M172 with an HMI program in EcoStruxure Machine Expert. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I see you on the next one.